real sort of seesawing affair all afternoon, but you just couldn't get your nose in front when it mattered. How did you sort of see, Matthew?
Yeah, unfortunately, the opposite to last week. We got our noses in front and got the chocolates. Not this week. There were a few things we didn't get right in the first half. Stoppage, they were hurting us, killing us out of there, spitting forward, and we didn't get that done well. It took us till half time, unfortunately, to change it. That's our challenge at the moment, is to be able to do that in the moment and get that done. You know, we could see it pretty early. To their credit, they were playing some good footy, but we allowed them to play their game really. That we just saw Essendon playing in a game of footy that they love to play in. You know, fast up and back. We allowed the corridor. And it comes really back to a couple of areas for us. That stoppage early in contest. In the first half, we fixed that up, and the second half was really the ball use. I thought we had our chances, going inside our forward half, and we found a way to give them the ball back, which is then really hard to defend length of ground when you give them the ball and you're 20 metres in front of them. So, some signs there where we will fight, we'll give it everything. I love that in our group, but some signs where we have to be better with the ball. We have to execute when it's our turn.
Was composure a bit of an issue, I guess, a few instances, especially really late, McHenry from the goal square and then Keys at the very end, the kick inside, those sort of things as well?
Yeah, and that's probably the picture. If you look across the entire 4 quarters, the last thing we want to do is focus on 2 moments.
Yeah.
They're great moments, and it goes through the middle with that little bit more composure, as you say. Great, we get the job. We then go into a different mode. But it was across the 4 quarters. There were moments right throughout, and we'll go back and we'll look at those, and we just have to be better. There's a time to execute, and you need to punish the opposition for them getting things wrong, and we didn't do that today.
Obviously, there's the top coming in, Taylor Walker coming back in, kicked 4 goals. How did you see his performance against first up?
Yeah, well, I think he's really important to our group. He straightens us up. His experience he brings ahead of the ball. He helps those younger guys that are down there playing around him. I think he took a little bit to settle into the game, as you'd expect, not being able to get too much of a hit out coming in. But I thought once he did settle, he showed that he just adds that tiny little bit more to us ahead of the ball. That's disrespectful, a lot more than tiny, but he adds a lot to us. Yeah, and it's not necessarily what's on in the screen either. He sets up those younger guys, and so it's nice to have him back in the side.
And then I guess in terms of, it was obviously he was getting booed out there, but in terms of the big picture of his return, I guess the contrition for what he did, the racist comments and those sorts of things. Where is Taylor at, I guess, generally?
It's a hard one for me to answer. I think it's one that Taylor's going to have to answer on how he's going. But in our conversations, he's done a load of work to work on being a better person going forward, as we all are. And I've talked through that as a footy club. We're doing what we can to educate ourselves and others. And Taylor's been the leader in that. And so today it was great to see him back out there for our group. As an important leader ahead of the ball, it was a real bonus for us.
Did the players really sort of embrace having him back after such a long time out?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think we brought our captain in today as well. Sloan coming back into the team. So there's 400 odd games of experience you bring back in, and again it takes that little bit longer for them to settle in and that connection begin to build again. But it was great to have those 2 back. We'll more than likely probably lose Hinge. We'll have to see how he pulls up. That was a hip pointer, but at the moment it's a credit to our high performance group. In that medical space, we've got a pretty full list that we've got access to. We've got Paul Seedsman, who's working through and improving rapidly. We're really pleased with how he's going, but he's the one player at the moment. So there's some guys in the wings ready to step up, playing some great footy at SNFL level. So it'll be, we'll see where we go from here.
Did you, you mentioned the moments that, with the lack of vote and that sort of thing throughout the game. Having said that, on the flip side, I guess you did hang in there. There were many times where Essendon looked like they were going to break away, but you guys kept on finding answers, and despite having only 15 fewer inside 50s, fewer opportunities to sort of almost win it. Is that a positive you can hang your head on?
Yeah, look, there's enough we speak about in the rooms where we know we've got to be better. And when we're turning that footy over in our attacking mid-zone, well, there's your inside 50 number, and the opposition are in a position to really hurt us coming back the other way. And they're areas that we know we've got to be better in. They're skill areas, it's execution, by foot, or sometimes it's a decision where it's unfortunately at the moment it's happening too often for us. We snuck across the line last week. We still had some areas in that space where we wanted to be better. We'll go back and work on it. And if we can get better in that changes the game substantially.
Josh Roselli, 3 goals, 7 score involvements at the age of 18. Do you think there's been a shift in approach to younger players in the competition and sort of releasing them a bit earlier? We see Nick Dacos for Collingwood performing strongly. Josh Roselli in your side. Has there been a shift in mindset about maybe releasing those players and getting them out on the AFL field a bit earlier?
I think if the players are ready for the game, I think then we're not going to hold them back. And the 2 you talked about, without going through others who have played this year, they're well and truly at the level. And it's a credit to some of the junior programs coming through. I guess that these guys are playing the standard of football that they are. The game's become a lot more attacking than what it was, I think, which is a positive for our game. Does that help some of these younger players who are able to get out into space and work? And it's not so much a one-on-one bash and crash. That's the challenge for some of these guys as the game or the season starts to play through, that they get a lot more attention and no longer slip under the radar. So that'll be their challenge. But I really enjoy watching Josh, the way he plays his footy. He's going to be a great footballer for this footy club, and we're just glad we've got him on our side.
I know you talked a few times about obviously not necessarily using the ball as well as you like, but at times you did really sight through us, and especially sort of on the counter in transition. We saw it at the end against Brown. Is this what I guess you want to build towards, to see that more and more? Because it was very exciting, and they really cut them open when you were going.
I'd have enjoyed it a lot more if we'd kicked one more. We do want to play. We want to play that style of footy. We're here to entertain, that ultimately, and everyone's entertained in a different way. Some people love the battle that is Aussie Rules footy, and we love that, and we feel like that's our DNA. So no matter who we play against, we want to play the game, and we want to turn that into a real bash and crash if we can. But we're adding to our game as well. We're working on that, and while we do that, we're mindful of losing focus of what we do really well. Now, today I thought, some of our ball movement was really strong, as you said, but we cost ourselves. It was the area of the game where we let ourselves down, was our ability to execute and finish, especially front of centre. I'll have to look back on it, but in the moment, we too many times we looked down, really disappointed about the turnover we'd made at a critical time.
Just on Taylor Walker, do you think that with what he's been through, has he come out a stronger person and developed and been able to learn a lot of things, and that's helped his game as well?
Yeah, I can't talk for him again about his footy and whether it's helped his game, but I know he's a better person. I know we all make mistakes. He's come through this, and he is a better person. He's now got a better understanding about everything in that space.
You wanted 3, so easily coming 3-1, with 2 losses by combined total of 5 points now. Did you feel like you guys are sort of just not far away from really stringing this together? How do you sort of assess it?
Yeah, after games like this, you always look at the what-ifs and what could we have done better. And I'm sure Essendon will do the same. There's times they could have scored and they didn't. They end up kicking a number of points, or we rushed them through today. So both sides could argue, the game could have gone another way. What pleases me with our group is that we never give up. That really pleases me. And Essendon at Marvel, when they do get a roll on, and there was a period, there were a few periods in the game where they looked like they were going to open us up, we dug in and we didn't give up. And so that, as a coach and as a coach or as a footy club, that makes us proud that that's the way we're going to be. And we're trying to build the list for that to be the case going forward. It's part of our DNA, part of our culture. And now we'll just add some polishing around that.
Last time you were here against them at the same venue was one of the worst nights in the club's history. Did that come into the preparation heating this week and really try to make a tone for that?
It didn't for our players, but I can guarantee you I remember it. There's just a balance with that of exactly what information you want to have coming into a game, and you don't want to put too many negative thoughts in a young group's heads. But we knew we'd been challenged by Essendon a lot over the last 4 or 5. I think it's been times that we've met. especially here at Marvel. It is a different ground to others. It does play reasonably fast. That's our challenge. We're going to play more games here, so it's a good experience for us.
All good, guys?
Did you guys tune into the AFLW yesterday?
I didn't.
For the team?
I did want to give a shout out to the girls too. I wasn't walking off here without doing it because they're still partying. I think my phone's going nuts. Stop ringing me. But yeah, we were so proud of what the Chelsea and the girls had done. Like an outstanding game. They played it their way, and they genuinely are still partying. So hold off. We're on the next flight back. We'll come and join you.
Sorry, was Mitch the only injury to come out today that you know?
Yes.
At this point in time, yep.
Right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.